In-form Surrey had much the better of the first day of their LV County Championship clash with Glamorgan at Colwyn Bay, where Chris Tremlett reminded us of his talents with his second 5-wicket haul of the season. Glamorgan won the toss and decided to bat, but soon found themselves in trouble after Will Bragg got the innings moving with a nice early boundary off Tremlett. But the tall bowler responded by getting one through Jacques Rudolph's defences as the South African departed for 5 to end an opening stand of 14. 6 balls later, and without another run being added, Bragg, whose only scoring shot from the 30 balls he faced was that 4, edged Tom Curran to Jason Roy, who parried, leaving it to Vikram Solanki to clean up. 2 balls later and the home team were 3 down with just 15 runs on the board as Tremlett trapped Ben Wright in front for a golden duck. So it was left to Chris Cook to try to lead a recovery. He was at least given a couple of leg side deliveries to hit to the boundary, and with the returning Murray Goodwin bedding in at the other end, a stand of 28 runs was put on in the next 7 overs. But Goodwin was the 4th man in the Glamorgan top 4 to depart in single figures. On 6, he was furious with himself for nicking a cut off Curran behind. It had certainly been Surrey's morning thus far. Although they drew their last match, a rain-affected one with Hampshire at the Kia Oval, they are in very good nick at the moment and are the only side who, at this stage of the summer, look like they might be able to catch up the top 2 teams in the second division. But they were held up for a while here by Cook and by the in-form Jim Allenby. These two have shared in a couple of handsome partnerships in recent times, and their teammates needed them to produce another one here in North Wales. Glamorgan went to the lunch break with a total reading 81 for 4. The Welshmen are always well supported at this out ground, and the county needed that support when Cook was trapped in front by Curran for 45 shortly after the restart. Gary Wilson behind the stumps appeared to be heading down the leg side when the ball struck the pads. With some help from his captain Mark Wallace, Allenby was able to bring up the 100 for his side, and as ever, he dealt mostly in boundaries. It wasn't that he took his T20 form into this match, but he was still using the middle of his bat to very good effect. Wallace was keen to ensure that his decision to bat first didn't backfire, and he also played some encouraging strokes as far as his team were concerned. Allenby hit an outstanding 100 in a T20 game against Middlesex last week and was still on the attack, this for taking him to his 50 off just 47 balls. His partnership with Wallace had realised 54 runs when the Glamorgan skipper, on a runner ball 25, played a little carelessly to Matt Dunn to nick off, with a total on 146 for 6. That became 161 for 7 when Rory Smith edged a drive off Curran, who now had 4 wickets after Rory Burns completed the dismissal in the slips. So now a lot depended on Allenby, who continued to play brightly, taking his tally of boundaries to 13 in his score of 69. It was on that his innings ended, Tremlett returning to the action to have Allenby held by Roy this time, with a total now on 182 for 8. That was not the kind of score that Wallace would have been dreaming of at the toss, and he would have been thankful that Will Owen and Dean Kosker managed to earn a batting bonus point by bringing up the 200. They added a quick-fire 36 runs for the 9th wicket in just 6 overs. But Tremlett then finished off the innings to grab the 13th 5-wicket haul of his career. Kosker played on after making 17, while Michael Hogan drove to Zafar Ansari, with Tremlett taking 5 for 60 and Curran 4 for 80. Glamorgan were all out for a below-par 232 in the 54th over. Owen left stranded on 37. So Surrey had the final extended session of the day to see if their good recent form with the bat could be maintained. Not only was it, but Burns and Ansari batted their side into a very good position by surviving for the remaining 42 overs by the seaside. Of course, it is always difficult to judge what makes a good total until both sides have had a bat on the same surface, and the way these two left-handers played with such assurance, that 232 didn't look good enough. These are two young batsmen in good touch presently, both of whom have recorded the best scores of their careers in recent weeks. Here they matched each other almost shot for shot as they made rather light work of their task to ensure that this was very much their team's day, another one of many over the last few matches for Surrey. Glamorgan's overall innings had been a little frenetic at times. Although they'd been dismissed fairly cheaply, the innings contained 38 boundaries. Another 16 were added by this pair before the day was at an end. Both batsmen registered their 50s before the close. Burns reached his first with this 4, his 9th. He'd been at the crease for 79 balls and this was his 4th half-century of the summer, one of which he converted into a very large 3-figure score. And Surrey's 6th 50 of an excellent summer was made off a more patient 131 deliveries, this being one of the 6 4s he hit from those. By the time stumps were drawn, Burns had made 59 and Ansari 55, and they knocked off 121 runs with very few problems. Surrey have been scoring big over the last month or so, and will be expecting to do so again on the second day, one which will see them start 111 runs behind.